Some structures look like they were built by people who refused to accept the word impossible. A tower leaning for centuries, a dam so massive it can affect the planet's rotation, a bridge floating above the clouds, a tunnel buried under the sea, and walkways hanging from cliffs where one look down is enough to freeze your body. Today, we're counting down the top 9 most dangerous engineering wonders on Earth. Stay until number 1, because the final structure was built beneath the ocean, where one serious mistake could mean seawater rushing into a tunnel dozens of kilometers long. Before we begin, tell us in the comments which scares you more: heights, deep water, unstable ground, or structures hanging over nothing. Number 9. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, Italy. This tower has been failing for nearly 850 years, and somehow that failure made it world famous. In Pisa, Italy, a white marble bell tower rises beside the cathedral, elegant, bright, and strangely wrong. It does not stand straight, it tilts to one side, as if the entire structure is slowly losing an argument with gravity. Tourists smile for photos beneath it. Engineers see something more serious: thousands of tons of stone sitting on ground that was never strong enough to hold it perfectly. The Leaning Tower of Pisa began to tilt while it was still under construction. Its foundation was only about 3 meters deep, and the ground beneath it was soft, made of sand, clay, and silt. By the time builders reached the 3rd level, the soil had already started sinking unevenly. The tower leaned more and more over the centuries, creating a slow-motion engineering crisis. At one point, the top of the tower was more than 5 meters out of vertical. In 1990, it was closed because engineers were seriously worried about stability. To save it, they used counterweights, reinforced the foundation, and carefully removed soil from the higher side to reduce the lean. The strange part is that the mistake became the masterpiece. For Pisa, the tower became an icon. What began as a structural flaw turned into one of the most recognized buildings on Earth. But the tower is also a warning. Even beautiful engineering can be betrayed by the ground beneath it. But the Leaning Tower is dangerous because of unstable soil. The next wonder is dangerous because it holds back enough water to leave a measurable mark on the planet. From a leaning tower in Italy, we moved to China, where one dam reshaped a river and changed the scale of human engineering. Number 8. Three Gorges Dam, China. This dam is so massive that the water behind it can affect the Earth itself. Across the Yangtze River, the Three Gorges Dam stretches like a wall built for giants. Concrete, turbines, spillways, and deep water extend across the landscape, holding back a reservoir so large it feels less like a lake and more like an inland sea. Below it, the river continues, but not the same river it was before. The Three Gorges Dam is one of the largest hydroelectric projects ever built. It is more than 2 kilometers long and stands about 185 meters high, controlling the flow of China's longest river. Its power station generates enormous amounts of electricity, but the dam also carries constant pressure from tens of billions of cubic meters of water stored behind it. According to the source, NASA has said the mass of water in the reservoir can slow Earth's rotation by about 0.06 microseconds per day and shift the rotational pole by about 2 centimeters. That is not something most structures can claim. This is engineering at planetary scale. The dam brought electricity, flood control, and navigation changes, but it also transformed entire communities and landscapes along the Yangtze. When humans build at this scale, the structure is never just a machine. It becomes a force that changes geography, economy, memory, and daily life. But the Three Gorges Dam is dangerous because of the water it holds back. The next structure is dangerous because it barely seems to have any ground beneath it at all. From a river wall in China, we travel into the Alps, where a mountain shelter sits high on rock with open air on nearly every side. Number 7. Cabane de Bertol, Switzerland. This mountain hut looks less like a building and more like a box stranded on a knife edge of rock. High in the Swiss Alps, Cabane de Bertol stands on a jagged rocky peak surrounded by snow, sky, and steep drops. From many angles, the structure seems to rise out of a rock too narrow to support anything ordinary. There is no street, no parking lot, no easy entrance, only ladders, altitude, and open air. The hut sits more than 3,300 meters above sea level and serves as a refuge for mountain climbers. Because the rock beneath it is so narrow, the structure had to be built upward, with multiple levels stacked on top of one another. The shelter can hold around 80 people, even though it stands in a location where weather, altitude, and terrain all fight against construction. Every part of its existence depends on anchors, structure, and careful engineering in a place where ordinary buildings would make no sense. It is not just remote, it is perched. For climbers, Cabane de Bertol can be a place of safety in a dangerous environment. That is the paradox. A structure that looks terrifying may be the thing that keeps people alive when the mountains turn violent. But Cabane de Bertol clings to rock in the Alps. The next engineering wonder sits on a tiny pillar in the sea where waves hit from every direction. From the high mountains, we move to the Aegean Sea, where a lighthouse stands on a rock that looks barely large enough to hold it. Number 6, Tourlitis Lighthouse, Greece. This lighthouse does not stand beside the sea, it stands alone inside it. In the Aegean Sea, a narrow rock pillar rises from restless blue water. At the top sits Tourlitis Lighthouse, small, exposed, and surrounded by waves on every side. There is no road leading to it, no gentle shoreline, just wind, water, stone, and a staircase carved into the rock like something from a dream. Tourlitis Lighthouse is one of the rare lighthouses built on a rock completely separated from the mainland. Its foundation is not a broad island, but a small sea pillar directly exposed to strong winds and crashing waves. Keeping a structure stable there is difficult enough. Maintaining it is another challenge entirely. The first lighthouse was built in the late 19th century, destroyed during World War II, and later rebuilt in 1994 on the same rock. That means the structure returned to the exact same dangerous position, because the sea route still needed guidance. Lighthouses exist to protect sailors, but this one is itself constantly exposed to the danger it warns others about. Its purpose is simple: stand there, alone, through storms, darkness, and rough water, so ships know where not to go. That makes Tourlitis feel less like a building and more like a sentinel. But Tourlitis survives by standing against waves. The next structure was built into a cliff, where the mountain itself became both wall and foundation. From a lighthouse surrounded by sea, we moved to Slovenia, where a castle hides inside the mouth of a cave. Number 5, Predjama Castle, Slovenia. This castle was not placed on top of a mountain. It was built directly into one. Number 5, Predjama Castle, Slovenia. This castle was not placed on top of a mountain. It was built directly into one. Predjama Castle appears from the cliff like a stone face emerging from darkness. Behind it is a massive cave. Above it, a vertical rock wall rises high into the sky. In front, the castle looks exposed, but from the sides and rear, the mountain surrounds it. It does not simply sit in the landscape, it uses the landscape as armor. Predjama Castle was built into the mouth of a large cave in Slovenia. The cliff behind it rises more than 120 meters, and the castle's position made it extremely difficult to attack from most directions. Its cave system extends deep into the mountain, creating hidden passageways that once allowed supplies to move in during sieges. Behind the castle rooms, passages lead into a natural cave network stretching more than 14 kilometers. That means the castle was not just a defensive structure, it was connected to a hidden world behind the walls. During attacks, that connection could become a lifeline. Predjama Castle shows how medieval builders turned danger into defense. A cliff that would normally make construction difficult became protection. A cave that could seem frightening became a secret supply route. It is architecture shaped by survival, but Predjama used the mountain as a fortress. The next wonder placed human life high on stone pillars, where the ground itself feels almost unreachable. From Slovenia's cave castle, we travel to Greece, where monasteries rise into the air on towers of rock. If you had to visit one of these engineering wonders, which would you choose? The Leaning Tower, the massive dam, the cliff hut, the sea lighthouse, or the cave castle? Drop your answer before we reach number 1. Number 4. Meteora Monasteries, Greece. These monasteries look like they were built for people who wanted to live between earth and sky. In central Greece, enormous sandstone pillars rise from the ground like stone towers. At the top of several pillars sit monasteries, small and silent above the valleys below. From a distance, the buildings look almost impossible, as if they were dropped onto the rocks by something larger than human hands. The Meteora Monastery complex was built on towering rock pillars, some rising more than 300 meters above the base. Their location helped monks seek isolation, safety, and spiritual distance from the world below. But building there required incredible effort. Materials had to be lifted up cliffs, and access was once extremely difficult. Some monasteries still use cable hoists to move food, supplies, and daily necessities. Even today, in a world of roads and machines, parts of Meteora still remind us that these buildings exist where vehicles simply cannot reach. That is the strange beauty of it. It is architecture that still negotiates with gravity every day. For the monks who lived there, Meteora was not a tourist attraction. It was refuge, devotion, and discipline carved into stone. To build a life there meant accepting height, isolation, and danger as part of spiritual practice. But Meteora's danger is ancient and sacred. The next structure is modern, transparent, and designed to make you feel the drop beneath your feet. From monasteries on stone pillars, we move to the Alps, where engineers built a platform that takes you beyond the cliff edge. Number 3. Dachstein Stairway to Nothingness, Austria. This stairway does not lead upward. It leads you down beyond the edge of a cliff. In Austria's Dachstein Mountains, steel steps descend toward open air. At the bottom, a glass platform extends out from the mountainside, with almost nothing between your feet and the rocky drop below. The structure feels simple. A few steps, a platform, a view. Then your brain realizes the valley is hundreds of meters beneath you. The Dachstein Stairway to Nothingness sits at about 2,700 meters elevation. Visitors walk down 14 steel steps onto a small glass viewing platform extending from the cliff. The entire load is carried back into the mountain through steel beams and anchor points, with no column rising from the valley below. The drop beneath the platform is nearly 400 meters. Snow and ice can cover the steel steps, making the experience feel even more intense, especially when the weather is cold and the platform is exposed to the elements. The engineering is safe, the feeling is not. This is modern engineering, built not only for function, but for emotion. It gives people a controlled encounter with fear. You step onto glass, look down, and your body reacts before your mind can explain the safety calculations. That is what makes it powerful. It turns a viewpoint into a psychological test, but the Dachstein lets you step beyond a mountain. The next structure sends vehicles across a valley so high that the clouds sometimes hide the ground. From a glass platform in Austria, we travel to France, where a bridge can look like a road floating through the sky. Number 2. Millau Viaduct, France. Sometimes the bridge piers disappear into clouds, leaving only a roadway floating above a wide ocean. In southern France, the Millau Viaduct stretches across the Tarn River Valley with elegant cables, massive concrete piers, and a road deck suspended high above the landscape. When fog fills the valley, the lower structure vanishes. Drivers see road, sky, and cloud. The earth below seems to disappear. The Millau Viaduct is one of the tallest bridges in the world. Its tallest pier reaches about 343 meters, making it taller than the Eiffel Tower. When clouds or fog collect in the valley, the bridge can appear to float above them. That creates one of the most surreal driving experiences on Earth, moving across a road where the ground below is completely hidden. The danger here is not just height. It is the psychological strangeness of crossing a structure that seems detached from the planet. The Millau Viaduct solved a major transportation problem by carrying traffic across a difficult valley, but it also became a symbol of modern engineering beauty, proof that a dangerous challenge can produce something almost graceful. It does not look heavy. It looks like a line drawn across the sky. But the Millau Viaduct conquered open air. Number 1 conquered something more terrifying, the sea above it. For number 1, we leave cliffs and clouds behind and go beneath the water into a tunnel where the ocean is the ceiling. Number 1 is the Seikan tunnel in Japan, one of the most dangerous and ambitious underground engineering wonders ever built, because it sends trains through a passage buried deep beneath the sea. Imagine boarding a train in Japan and watching the landscape disappear into a tunnel. The light fades, the windows turn dark. The sound becomes deeper and more enclosed. Above you, ships cross the Tsugaru Strait. Around you, rock and reinforced structure hold back pressure. Far above that structure is seawater, and for kilometers, the train keeps moving with no sky, no open air, and no quick exit. The Seikan Tunnel connects Japan's islands of Honshu and Hokkaido. It stretches nearly 54 kilometers in total, with more than 23 kilometers running beneath the seabed of the Tsugaru Strait. Its lowest point sits about 240 meters below sea level. Building it required engineers to excavate through rock beneath the sea, manage groundwater, reinforce unstable sections, and design systems that could keep the tunnel safe in one of the most unforgiving environments imaginable. This was not like cutting through a mountain. A mountain does not flood the tunnel with seawater if something goes wrong. The sea does. Construction began in 1971 and lasted nearly 2 decades. During that time, groundwater repeatedly flowed into the tunnel, forcing drainage and reinforcement systems to be expanded. That is the nightmare of underwater engineering. You are not only digging forward, you are constantly fighting what wants to come in. Even after completion, the tunnel requires strict safety systems, ventilation, sensors, emergency stopping areas, and escape routes. A tunnel this long, this deep, and this isolated cannot depend on luck. It has to be engineered for fear before fear ever arrives. The Seikan Tunnel matters because it represents one of humanity's boldest ideas. If the sea separates 2 lands, do not just cross above it, go beneath it. It changed transportation between Honshu and Hokkaido and proved that engineering could create a route through a place where humans were never meant to travel. That is why the Seikan Tunnel earns number 1. Because cliffs are terrifying when you look down. Bridges are terrifying when clouds hide the valley. Glass platforms are terrifying when your feet see the drop. But a tunnel beneath the sea is different. The danger is invisible. You do not see the water above you. You do not see the pressure. You do not see the engineering holding the world back. You only feel the train moving through darkness. And somewhere above, the ocean waits. The most dangerous engineering wonders on Earth are not dangerous in the same way. Some lean because the ground betrayed them. Some hold back rivers. Some cling to cliffs. Some stand alone in violent seas. Some turn mountains into homes, bridges, viewpoints, and sacred refuges. And some pass directly beneath the ocean itself. From the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the Three Gorges Dam to Meteora, Millau Viaduct, and the Seikan Tunnel, these structures prove one thing. Human ambition does not always avoid danger. Sometimes it builds directly into it. Which engineering wonder shocked you the most? Would you rather stand on a glass platform, drive across a bridge above the clouds, or ride through a tunnel under the sea? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy documentary-style rankings about impossible structures, extreme places, and the hidden limits of human engineering, subscribe for more. In the next video, we'll explore the most terrifying bridges ever built.